This is a special event. It is the Heisman Trophy of defense. It is the award that gives back to a side of the ball that doesn't get as much glory. Thank you, Charlotte.
What a high level of excellence Bronco Nagurski brought to the game. He is an inspiration to anyone who loves the game of football.
My football story is not about playing for the Carolina Panthers. My football story is from the time I was 5 years old, all I ever wanted to do was play for Wayne Hills High School in northern New Jersey.
I was a part of something, and the purpose of what we were working for was greater than any one of us.
We come out every day to compete, and the only way we can get better is we, compete against each other hard.
It's important to note that sometimes the signs that we ask for are right there in front of us. Win or lose, there was always a message in there. It's about what we do with the adversity we face.
You can have a dream, but you better be prepared for that opportunity.
I want to thank you all once again for the millions of dollars that you have contributed. And I know while the focus of the Charlotte Touchdown Club might be football, the money that you provide enables multiple sports to benefit.
It's a lot of hard work. I mean, it's nothing is given. I mean, you have to earn everything.
Honored to be here today. You do such wonderful work. The funds you raise for scholarships around the area, that's wonderful.
A very heartfelt thank you to members of the Touchdown Club for your support of 16,000 plus students who you all are impacting annually. Studies show that GPAs and graduation rates are higher, absences and dropout rates are lower.
What I've learned in my life is you can accomplish anything in this world. If you want to do something bad enough, you'll find a way.
But it's important that everybody in this room and beyond understands that it starts with us. You see these kids on the come up, you gotta let them know.
Football was a gladiator sport. Only gladiators played football.
Tonight, you're going to get a glimpse of excellence of our finalists and what they have brought to this game. Their dedication, passion, and brute strength, along with their ability to make key plays during crucial moments in big games.
I believe that football is the greatest game that there is. It's the only game where people of all sizes, of all shapes, of all different talent levels can come together. And everyone have to execute their job. And I believe young people should play it. I believe it builds character. It teaches us how to sacrifice and be humble.
Life is all about when you get punched in the gut, finding a way to get up and dust yourself off and get back in the ring and just keep swinging, son. Just keep swinging.
Be here, be back in North Carolina, see all you Wolfpackers and all you others again. What you do with this organization, with John and so many that contribute, it really is awesome. Because as we all know, sports, it may be more important now than it's ever been. These high schools and what it's doing to help facilitate and bring joy and some discipline and virtue. It's awesome.
And I think football is a lens and a window to our world, to our society when it comes to team. When you talk about together, everybody achieves more. There's nothing on that football field that's of accomplishment without the work of 10 other men.
I actually came in a couple years and worked at Rock Hill.
The Football Writers Association of America and the Charlotte Touchdown Club are proud to present the 2020 Bronco Nagurski Trophy to Zaven Collins from the University of Tulsa.
Thank you to the Football Writers Association for presenting me this trophy and selecting me to be the Nagurski winner. Thank you to Charlotte Touchdown Club and Lending Tree for entrusting with me and putting my name on the trophy. It really means a lot to me.
Growing up around the game, I have a deep and abiding respect for those who have paved the way. Bronco Nagurski was a true pioneer of our game.
Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Charlotte Touchdown Club. And today's special luncheon, where I think you all know who we're here to see. It's not me. It's the Hall of Famer Chipper Jones. And we're going to have a great time talking with him in just a little while. But I want to introduce myself. My name is Justin Kutcher. I've been here a few times. I moved to Charlotte back in 2010, and I've been blessed in my life. I've gotten to call every sport that I could possibly imagine. I grew up a diehard sports fan. I worked for ESPN for about 4 years, worked here in Charlotte with ESPNU. Then I went to Fox Sports for about 9 years, and that's where I got to call Major League Baseball Saturday game of the week on Fox, and that was a dream come true. I called NFL, college basketball, college football, the Westminster Dog Show, World Cup soccer, U.S. Open golf, you name it, I did it. In the last 3 years, I was the broadcaster for the Washington Wizards on NBC Sports Washington up in D.C. But it's great to be back here in Charlotte and great to be here today for this event. Honestly, my first love is baseball, and so when I was approached to see if I can do this talk today, and I knew Chipper Jones would be here, I said, absolutely. This is going to be a fun day for all of us. Want to thank our sponsor, Truist, for helping us put this together today, and also a special thanks to both Major League Baseball and the Atlanta Braves for making this happen. All of you received Atlanta Braves hats. That was very cool of the Braves and making this happen. You saw the World Series trophy out there, not too shabby. So thank you for making this happen here today. I want to say thank you to our media partners, News Talk 1110, WBT, and WFNZ. And with that, I know that the key to all these events is keeping things short and sweet, letting you guys eat, and then get to the good stuff. So right now, let's introduce the president of the Charlotte Touchdown Club, Andy Colacerto.
Justin said he wanted to get to the good stuff, and then he called me up here, so a little disappointing, I'm sure. But good afternoon, and thank you all for being here today. And the Touchdown Club wants to welcome you to the speaker series featuring Atlanta Braves third base legend Chipper Jones. But before we get into it, there's some housekeeping issues that I need to discuss and some thank yous that we need to send out. And today's event sponsor, Truist. Without you all, this would not have been possible, and we appreciate it deeply. You've been a consistent supporter of the Touchdown Club, and we look forward to the relationship moving forward. Today, we wouldn't have been able to get Chipper here today without the help of the Major League Baseball and the Atlanta Braves. Both were instrumental in it, and their work with John Rocco made this day possible. And last but not least, the sponsors that are in this room make this whole club possible. Our sponsorship team is comprised of 60 companies around and connected to the Charlotte community and supporting the mission of the Charlotte Touchdown Club. And what else wouldn't be possible without those sponsors would be the donations that are given back in this community. As a result of the money that you all have provided over the years, the Touchdown Club is pleased to announce that they've raised and distributed over $3 million for youth athletics in the Charlotte and surrounding areas. And we got a fantastic event planned for you today, but we also have some other events coming up that we want you to put in your calendar. We have Marshall Falk speaking at the next speaker series, and that's June 23rd. Tim Tebow, I'm sure there's some Florida fans, or at least some Tim Tebow fans in the room, July 29th. Chris Berman on October 21st, and then we have the return of the Carolina Panthers kickoff luncheon on September 1st. September 1st. NC State coach Dave Doran is the keynote speaker for the December 5th Bronco Nagurski Awards, and we're pleased to have you all here today, and we look forward to a great slate of events for the rest of the season. So thank you all again for your support. Thank you for being here, and enjoy your lunch.
Thank you, Andy. If we could now bring up Father John Hannock to bless us for this meal here today. He's making his way. I think it'd be great if we got a drum roll for him. Anyone? Father John Hannock of St. John's Church.
Before we pray, I'd like to say what a privilege it is for all of us to be able to be here today, to once again give thanks to God who loves us all so abundantly. Let us pray. Loving God, we thank you for the abundance of our lives, our families, our friends, all the gifts and abilities you have entrusted to us. May we glorify you in the ways we serve our sisters and brothers, especially those who are most alienated and neglected. Bring your peace to our hearts and bring your peace to your world. Thank you for all the members of the Charlotte Touchdown Club and their guests who gather here today. Thank you for the changing seasons as we anticipate the joys of spring and summer vacations. Thank you for our team, the Carolina Panthers. Continue to bless them. Allow them to prosper during this coming football season. Finally, thank you for the abundance of our table, for all the hands who brought this food to us. Bless all who are deprived of food and friendship. Give us compassionate, energetic hearts to reach out to those most in need. All of this we pray in your name, loving God. Amen.
Thank you, Father John. With that, let's eat, and we will continue the festivities in about 20 minutes. Thank you. How's that meal treating you? Pretty good, right? I have to admit, that was actually really good. I love the salad, the dressing, the chicken. A little Asian flair to it. It was delicious. We want to recognize the more than 60 Touchdown Club sponsor team members highlighted on the video board that I think we're going to put on here momentarily. Want to really thank all of them for coming here and doing this and helping us put this on. Right now, it's time for the raffle, and for that, we're going to bring up Sarah Baker. Right? She's going to assist with this. We have 5 prizes that we're going to raffle off, and we're going to take number 1 right now, which is a baseball autograph by Chipper Jones. So take out your raffle tickets. And if you have number 145989, come on down. 145989. Don't all jump at once. Again, 145989. If you are the lucky winner of a Chipper Jones autographed baseball, come on down and Sarah can give that to you. We're going to move on to the next one. If nobody claims that by the end, we're going to redraw. All right. This one is a Atlanta Braves helmet autographed by Chipper Jones. The first 3 numbers are 731. The last 3, 098. 731098. We got a winner. All right, come on down. The next prize that we're going to raffle off is a bat autographed by Chipper Jones. Sarah, if you'll take out the next raffle ticket. It's a 731 number again. Last 3 are 288. 731288. This is for the Chipper Jones autographed baseball bat. Yes, over here. All right, for the next one, it's a 2021 Bronco Nagurski autograph commemorative football. And this is going back to the 145 for the first 3 numbers, 719. 145719. This is for a 2021 Bronco Nagurski autograph commemorative football. We got it back there again. And the last one is a 2021 Bronco Nagurski autograph collage. And for the collage, I have a feeling it may come from that corner again. 145869. 145869. Oh no, it's over here. All right. We're getting the full room. We want to thank Crown Sports Sales and Rydell for their support of today's silent auction. Again, the silent auction is going on right now outside. Don't forget to place your bids on those items. The last bids will be taken about 10 minutes after the conclusion of the luncheon. And this is the most important part. All the proceeds benefit the Charlotte Touchdown Club Scholarship Fund. So it's all going to a great cause. Now, there are a lot of special guests here in attendance today. We'd like to recognize those guests. High school, middle school coaches, athletic directors, and administrators that we have here today. And of course, last but certainly not least, please give a warm welcome to all the current and former U.S. military heroes in attendance today, especially a warm, heartfelt applause for the U.S. Army's Golden Knights who are here in attendance today. If you all could please stand up. I know you guys hear this a lot, but we can never say thank you enough for what you do. Seriously, you let us do all this. You give us our freedom. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. I said this at the very beginning, that the reason you guys were all here, I'm guessing a lot of you are either Atlanta Braves fans, being here in Charlotte, or baseball fans with the Charlotte Touchdown Club. They're going to honor what you want to hear. And I could talk a lot about Chipper Jones. I can mention all of his accolades. You guys already know them. 8-time All-Star, MVP in 1999, World Series champion, Hall of Fame class of 2018. You know that. You could rattle that off. But we've got a video here, and after the video, we're going to hear from Chipper Jones. So enjoy this.
Deep to right field. And with one swing of his bat, Chipper Jones has untied the game. It's 3-2 Atlanta. That's Chipper Jones' first big league home run.
Hit hard. Oh, nice play, Chipper. From his knees, flips to first. That is a great play.
To left field and slicing away from Bichette, who dives, and it's off his glove. Grisham comes in to score. Lemke comes in to score. Jones has a double. It's 3-2.
Oh, what a play by Chipper at third. He took away a hit from Marrero. Wow. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Jones. High fly ball to right center field. Much carry on this one. Back to the wall goes Kingery. Chipper Jones has connected for his second home run of the night.
Jones looks a fly ball in a deep left center field. Lofton at the wall. Goodbye. 2-run home run by Jones.
Want anybody out?
In the air, left center field. Moises Alou drifting back to the wall at the ivy. Goodbye. And Chipper Jones has hit his second 2-run home run of the game. And what a blow that is. Again, the 3-2. And he hits it out there at third. Out at second. On to first. Got them all. A triple play. Wall hits into a triple play.
Well struck to center. Maven on the run, still going. It's off his glove and off the wall. That's going to score Prado and Hayward. Chipper around second on his way to third. And the Braves bust this game open. The pitch that he wants to hit, and he just did. Crushed deep to right. And there it is. 400. Runners go, chop, Chipper dives, makes the play, recovers, throws, Freeman digs it out. What a play.
Swung on and driven deep to center. 1500. Back goes Coughlin. That's number 1500 on the RBI count.
Hammered down the left field line. Fair ball, Braves win. They lead 2 games to none.
Fitting. And Ricky delivers. Breaking ball that's hit in the air to right. Back goes Hermida. At the wall. He's done it again. Chipper Jones got a hanging curveball, and he ties the game. Chipper at third. Flips to second. What a play. Swing, high fly ball. Broke to right center. And the Braves have won it. Hot shot, a base hit. They'll want that baseball.
I know I get emotional watching that. I can only imagine what Chipper Jones feels like watching all those highlights. So without further ado, the man we all came to see, please welcome Hall of Famer Chipper Jones.
Sorry, I'm getting all misty. Little trek down memory lane. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little out of practice with my public speaking. My professor at Bowles, my public speaking professor at Bowles, probably rolling over in his grave right now. But man, it's been so long since I've been here in Charlotte, and what a beautiful city. I actually have a very funny story that I was reminded of. I played here in 1992 in AA. It was my first AA at bat after getting called up from the Durham Bulls to the Greenville Braves, and I played on an unbelievable team that won 106 games out of 150 that year. But my first at bat was here off Steve Traxel from the Charlotte Cubs. The next year, we came back, and it was the AAA affiliate of the Cleveland Indians. And they beat us for the championship that year. So Charlotte has the championship. It was AAA championship. It was still a championship. We got our revenge a couple years later in 1995 when we beat the Cleveland Indians for the World Series. But we were in Charlotte, and I'm hitting in the first inning, and I always prided myself, guy on third, less than 2 outs, put the ball in play, get your easy RBI, set the tone for the game. So I was facing, who'd you say it was? McCarthy. Okay, I thought it was Chad O.J., but your memory's probably, I've killed a lot more brain cells than you have probably. I'm facing this guy in the first inning, and he strikes me out. And there's nothing that pissed me off more than striking out with a guy on third in less than 2 outs. So I come back in, and they've got these vertical bat racks. So I take the knob of the bat, and I throw it into the bat rack. The bat slips out of the palm of my hand, comes back, and knocks my 2 front teeth out. It's kind of hard to find a dentist at midnight here in the great city of Charlotte, but we found one. I learned a valuable lesson. People always ask me, they're like, man, how do you stay so even-keeled? You know, I never see you lose your temper. Well, that was a lesson learned right here in Charlotte. So just to give a little background, I'm from a little town about 20 miles inland from Daytona called Pierson, Florida. Only child. My mother's a professional equestrian. My dad, a high school math teacher and forever baseball coach. They will be married 52 years in 2 weeks. So an extremely good support system. Can't tell you how many times Pops was throwing batting practice. Mom and my grandfather, who lived across our 10-acre farm from us, out in the outfield shagging flies. My grandmother in the bleachers, you know, whenever I'd hit one out, she'd clap. Whenever I ground out to second, she'd boo me, you know. So that's just that's the way it was in the Jones household. But a tremendous support group. I ended up going to Jacksonville Bowles High School and boarding there for 3 years. Pretty unbelievable learning experience for me, going from big fish in a little pond, my hometown, to now small fish in a big pond, playing in Jacksonville, Florida. But learned a lot, played, I'm thinking to myself, why on earth is a baseball player speaking at a touchdown club? But I dabbled in football as well. I played 3 years of football there, signed with the University of Miami, had a chance, Dennis Erickson offered me a chance to play football, and I was like, let's see, playing baseball or running across the middle and practice every day with Ray Lewis chasing you. I think I'm gonna go baseball. And I think I made the right decision. Obviously got drafted by the Braves 2 days after I graduated high school, and spent 3.5 years in the minor leagues before I got a chance to realize my dream at the big league level. Unbelievable run with the Atlanta Braves. I was with them playing for 23 years. I've since been hitting coach. I've been assistant to the general manager. I'm one of the only guys in the franchise that has 2 World Series rings, so that's pretty good. It was, right? speaking of that, what an unbelievable run. I know you guys being a part of Braves country, it's a tremendous amount of pride to see the Braves jerseys and the Braves hats, so we are well represented here. But what an unbelievable and improbable run last year. You know, you're basically looking at a 500 ball club that all of a sudden Alex Anthopoulos makes a couple of moves at the trade deadline to bring in some talent, and I've never seen, you know, a team's trajectory turn on a dime. You know, we were couldn't get out of our own way until August, and then we get all those guys in, and they just gelled and got hot at the right time. And I heard an unbelievable stat. During my tenure with the Braves, we won 100 regular season games 6 times. 6 times. Do you know how many world championships we have out of those 100 win seasons? 0. So it's not always the best team that comes out on top at the end. It's the team that comes into the playoffs the hottest. And finally, the Braves were the hottest team in baseball. But rather than sit here and talk about myself, we'll bring in.
We're going to sit down,
Yep.
a little Q&A with Chipper Jones. Yeah, sure. I'll give you this one. And while we're taking the podium down, don't forget the helmet, the Atlanta Braves helmet centerpiece at your table. The winner of the centerpiece is a person at each table who has a sticker that says, guess what it says? You are the winner, on the back of the Chipper Jones autograph card. So take a look right now, see who is the winner at your table, and then we're going to get this going. And remember, it says, you are the winner. All right, as you guys are looking right now to figure out who the lucky winner is at each table, we're going to sit here and talk some baseball, talk some life stories with Chipper Jones. Chipper, the first thing, I guess, is you mentioned it. You played some football. You were a football player in high school. You were a baseball player in high school. You're the #1 overall pick in 1990. You mentioned the story about Ray Lewis and the University of Miami. How tough of a decision was it for you? Because so many people focus on one sport these days. How tough was it to say, I'm going to go baseball instead of football?
It was tough. I mean, I love football. I'm from the South, man. There's nothing that beats Friday nights. There's nothing that beats, you know, wearing your jersey to school on Friday and, you know, having your girlfriend cheering and, you know, I mean, all that is, you know, it was a big deal in the South. So I bought in hook, line, and sinker. My one thing was I didn't like getting hit very often, you know. They put me as far away from the pile as possible. I played wide receiver, and then I played, you know, free safety, playing center field. So, again, you know, catching passes, I could really run back in the day. I had good hands. I had a guy that could throw it to me. You know, he played a couple years at Princeton. Smart guy. He was my roommate. Got me through school, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, but I always knew where my bread was buttered. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I grew up, you know, when it was the winter time, I was in the gym shooting hoops. You know, in the fall, I was running pass patterns. But come the turn of the calendar, there was a little bit different intensity about my approach to the game of baseball and consequently how hard I worked at it.
So the fact that you played basketball, you played football, and decided to go baseball, you were a switch hitter. You played third base. I think a lot of people forget that you actually moved to left field in the middle of your career to help the team. How much did playing those other sports help you become the baseball player you were?
I think not only playing different sports, and this is not to get on travel ball, but I don't allow my kids to play travel ball. I want them to play different sports because you learn a different discipline with each sport that you play, or different disciplines. You also get a chance to be around different kids with each sport, so you become more of a social chameleon, you know, and I think it helps you kind of roll with the punches, you know. I mean, my wife tried to sign my 12-year-old up for travel ball, and I was like, okay, so he has a school team that he's playing for, and then you want to ruin our entire summer by travel ball? I was like, no, we're going to allow these boys to be kids in the summer just like we were. Yes, when I was 15, 16, 17 years old, I played some American Legion ball, and whatnot, but I feel like so many kids play travel ball at 10, 11, 12 years old and are playing so many games that they get burned out by the time, it is time to actually make some money playing the game. So I'm not saying that my way is the perfect way to do it. It's just how I choose to do it.
Well, let's talk about your way, your experiences. Major League debut. Who was the pitcher you faced?
First at bat, Kevin Wickender.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't know him. Yeah, nobody knows him. Swing and bunt down the third base line. Yeah.
Okay, so you're hitting righty.
Hitting righty.
Hitting righty, swinging bunt. The moment, I always love to ask this question, the aha moment when you're like, holy cow, I'm playing in the major leagues. Who was it that you were facing, or what was it that you realized I made it?
Oh, boy. I think it was my first major league start, and I've told this story 100 times, and it's in my book. My first major league start was in 1995. I'd blown out my knee in spring training of 94, missed all of 94. We went on strike. There was no World Series. We actually didn't get back to playing until late April, beginning of May in 1995. But my first start, we're playing the San Francisco Giants. First inning, Maddox is on the mound, and Bonds is hitting, okay? So we're playing the shift on him. I'm playing shortstop. And I mean, he hits a ball straight up the silo, man, straight up. So me being the young, brash punk that I was like, I'm going to take charge, boys. Here I come charging in. I got my flip downs down, and the next thing I know, I'm laying flat on my back. I got my flip downs in my mouth. And Fred McGriff is standing over me laughing. I mean, and all I can hear is Greg Maddox MFing me for everything I'm worth. I have run over Greg Maddox, all right? We both are flat on the ground, and Freddie ended up catching the pop-up. Thank God he ended up catching the pop-up. But for like 3 innings, yeah, a doggy went up one side of me and down the other, like, calm down, rookie. This is the first of a lot of baseball games. Just calm down. So that was kind of my keep your emotions in check kind of moment.
So that's your rookie year, and in 95, you guys go on to win the World Series that you mentioned just before. You got your revenge against Cleveland.
Yeah.
And you did settle down because you were a key component to that team. When you look back at that team, I think everybody looks at the pitching staff. And you mentioned Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz. What was it like coming up? Did you understand how good these guys were as a rookie?
Oh, yeah. I was scared to death, like most of us were. But the good thing about that Braves team and the Braves organization in general at that particular time, Bobby had drafted most of the young guys. Myself, Ryan Klesko, Javi Lopez, Tony Tarasco, Mike Kelly. We came up, and like I said, we won a AA championship in Greenville, setting all kinds of wins record. We played for another championship in AAA. So we played in the playoffs. We played in Game 7s. We you know, it might not have been the World Series, but it was the World Series to us, you know. And when we got called up, or when we were asked to take the place of a Terry Pendleton or a Ron Gant or a Deion Sanders, we were ready, you know. And each one of us took it upon ourselves. We don't want to be the weak link. Like, I came in 95, and I was like, I don't want to hear Terry Pendleton's name. I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, Terry Pendleton would have got a hit right there. Terry Pendleton wouldn't have made it. I don't want to hear that, you know. And I heard it. It's bound to happen, But Terry Pendleton's such a great guy and a great leader and one of my mentors. But we mixed really well. And when you have pitching, defense, and timely hitting, as you see every year in the postseason, the team that does that the best is going to win.
So that 95 year, you win the World Series. 96, you go back to the World Series, and then you're joined by a young kid who's playing the outfield, who I think in his World Series debut hits 2 home runs, Andrew Jones.
Yeah, what a special talent. Just one of the most unbelievably gifted guys that I've ever seen. And I was asked the question today, which of my teammates do I think belongs in the Hall of Fame? There's certainly a handful, but he certainly is at the top of the list. Nobody played center field, I don't think, ever for a 10-year period. If there's somebody better, it might be a better all-around player than Andrew. I know a bunch of people bring up Griffey, and Griffey's certainly, unbelievable. But I got to watch him firsthand every night, and he made some catches that Griffey never would have got to. I can promise you that. He's just one of those guys that I really pull for. I call him my brother from another mother. We used to not get along very well early on in our careers because we were both kind of the same brash little hotshot punks, that kind of clashed from time to time. But the older and older we got, we respected each other, and he was at my Hall of Fame induction, and hopefully I'll be able to go to his one day.
That's awesome. With that said, you said how he was the best center fielder you think there's been for a 10-year span. Who's the best player
Barry Bonds.
You ever played against Barry Bonds?
Barry Bonds. There's not even a close second. Barry Bonds is the baddest dude that's ever donned a baseball uniform. And you can sit here and say steroids, no steroids. I don't care. Like, before all the stuff, whatever, he is the baddest man to ever put on a baseball uniform. Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, God rest his soul. I mean, this guy could do it all. He could dominate in the field. He robbed me of a grand slam one time in Candlestick Park, which wasn't very nice. He stole 500-plus bases, so he could do it on the base paths. Like back in the day, you couldn't walk him because that's just like throwing him a double, maybe even a triple. And then, the ability to be able, late in his career, to see maybe one pitch a night to swing at and deposit that thing in McCovey Cove. Oof, man. He came into our place in a 3-game series. This is the greatest 3-game series I've ever seen in my life. And Bobby told us, like in the pre-series meetings, he was like, we're not letting Barry beat us. If we got a base open, we're walking him. He hit 2 home runs the first game. He hit 3 the second game, and he hit 1 the third game. Bobby comes in after the series. He's like, you guys don't listen to the scouting reports real well, do you? I mean, they just kept pitching to him. And I was just like, I'm sitting there in the shift, and I got to hold my glove over my face. I'm like, Jiminy Christmas. And he was unbelievable. And it's a shame, the way everything ended for he and Roger Clemens, because I really feel like 2 of the best players, pitcher and position player of our eras are, now muddled in a cloud of, turmoil.
Mm-hmm. You talked about putting your glove over your mouth, and one thing I love, I said before, baseball's my first love, and I love finding out the intricacies of the game. So it happens more when you're at first base, conversations with the first baseman as opposed to third base. But whether it's at first base, when you're a runner, or on the pitcher's mound, what are some of those, a story that comes to mind where you had an interaction that was memorable?
Most of them revolve around Maddox. Grossest human being of all time, by the way. Like, I know there are kids in here, and I'm going to tell a story that the parents earmuff their kids, But this one story, and this was how good Greg Maddux was and how he understood his strengths, hitters' weaknesses. We're facing the Diamondbacks. Luis Gonzalez is sitting. Louis hit Maddux pretty good. We had a base, second and third, had a base open at first, and Bobby sends Leo out to the mound. Doggy, Bobby wants you to walk Luis Gonzalez, and Doggy was like, absolutely not. Leo goes, okay. Actually, before he said okay, Doggy goes, I'm going to throw him a changeup away for a ball. I'm going to throw him a cutter inside, and he's going to hit a pop-up to Chipper. I literally did that. Like, I was like, okay, Leo. Okay. Turns around, walks off, and you could see Bobby. He's pissed, right? Didn't like to have his authority questioned. First pitch, changeup down and away. Second pitch, cutter. As I'm looking at this ball going up, I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me, right? Right to me, all right? The guy was unbelievable at understanding. He could tell by what swing you took what you were sitting on, and he had everything to combat that. The gross story, okay. So I get a game-winning base hit, and feeling pretty good about myself, kind of digging myself a little bit. And I used to shower in the second shower on the left. He used to shower in the third shower on the left. And he was like, man, that was awesome, man. Tell me what you were thinking. Well, you know, once I got ahead in the count, I know he's not going to challenge me, so I was kind of sitting on change-up, da-da-da-da. Well, Eddie Perez, our catcher, was in the the last shower on the right, and I can sense that he's like giggling at me, right? And I look down, and Maddux is peeing on me. Seriously, peeing on me. Like, if I had a couple more years in, I probably would have decked it, you know? But I can't kill the $10 million man, you know? So I took it like a man. I stayed in the shower a little extra longer that night.
So that's what it's going to sound weird, but that's what I love, right? The fact that here you are, you're grown men, but you're playing a kid's game, and you guys are able to stay kids for such a long time because you're around each other, and it's this fraternity. Yeah. When you decided to hang it up, how tough is that? What gave you the peace to know that this is the right time?
It's the one thing that I miss. I don't miss the physical part of baseball. I've had 7 knee surgeries. I've had 2 ACL replacements. I've had an ankle surgery and a hand surgery. I'm tired of them poking holes in me, you know? But that fraternity is something that, you know, I wish everybody in here could you know, experience, because it is a very tight-knit fraternity. You will be boys forever, and yeah, it's one of the reasons why I wanted to keep my toe in the door, keep my foot in the door a little bit. For those of y'all that don't know, I have 7 boys at home. Actually 5 boys at home right now that are in and out. I have a 24, 21, 17, 16, 12, 5, and 3. Wow. Okay, so I stay pretty busy, you know?
So I want to have like a Goodwill moment, a Goodwill Hunting moment, and have you name them all.
Matthew, Trey, Shay, Tristan, Bryson, Ridge, and Cooper.
Pretty good?
Yeah. Don't ask me their birthdays, though.
and if you can, in case the fans out here don't know, how did you name Shay?
Because I like sticking it to Mets fans. Yeah. I will always say Shay was one of my favorite places to play because they made it so hard for you to make right turns at first base. You want to make left turns when you're in Shea Stadium. It was just one of those ballparks where I saw the ball extremely well. I knew that whenever we played the Mets, it was going to be chaotic, and they had a pretty good ball club for for many of the years. So they were our biggest rival, you know. So it's great to go out there and see Braves fans fighting with Mets fans in the stands, and you know, just getting kicked out, and you know, I don't know why anybody would wear a Jones jersey in Shea Stadium, because you're asking for a fight. But man, those were some of the greatest times. And my dad always said, he goes, if you can perform under the bright lights in New York City, you can be successful anywhere, because there's nothing like that kind of pressure.
So with that said, you talked about the fighting in the stands, the fans going at it. How much do you hear the fans when you're on the field?
Not very often. I play a position in third base where the next pitch could be down my throat, you know, so it's kind of imperative that I stay in tune with what pitcher and catcher are doing. I would have some pretty spirited conversations with fans in the on-deck circle.
Okay.
You know, because it's they're literally right there in your ear. So, you know, I mean, they would question the ancestry of my mother from time to time, and I would have to defend her and stuff like that. But I think the more you disarm them and turn around and say, hey, bud, God bless you, man. God bless you. I'll be praying for you tonight. And then they're like, well, I didn't see that one coming, you know? So that's how I disarm them.
There's a player right now in Major League Baseball. You said how you keep your toe in the game. Shohei Ohtani. And Shohei Ohtani won the American League MVP last year with the Angels, starting pitcher and a DH. He's never stopped hitting or pitching his entire career. To me, I think he may have the biggest impact on baseball since Jackie Robinson, because I think you may see a trend in American baseball where players like yourself, you were a pitcher and a fielder in high school, you keep on going. Do you think he could have that kind of an impact? Is it something that you would have wanted to continue?
Oh, it was a dream of mine to pitch one inning. I begged Bobby a couple times when we were getting our doors blown off. Hey, man, let me get out there. I got like 84 in the tank. You know, I mean, I think what Shohei is doing, it will absolutely set a trend. You know, we grew up, you had to do either or.
Right.
You know, I grew up in Central Florida. I was a big Gator fan. The Gators crushed me, man. They recruited me as a pitcher. I'm like, have you not seen me swing a bat, dude? Really? You're not? And you had to do either or, you know. And the University of Miami recruited me as a position player
and wide receiver.
And wide receiver. Don't forget that. And so it was easy for me because I love the game too much. I don't want to play once every fifth day. You know, Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox, they don't love the game that much. They want to. They're using the game to go play golf 4 days a week. You know, so I wanted to play every day. I wanted to hit, and that was what I was best at anyway. I was one of the better athletes on my team. That's the only reason I pitched.
And then the transition from going to shortstop, which you grew up playing, to third base, and then third base to left field when Vinny Castilla came in. How did those come about?
Well, I kind of moved to third out of necessity because the Braves had two shortstops on that 95 team, and Jeff Blauser and Rafael Belliard. So, you know, there was a vacancy at third. I was just thankful. So in 94, before I blew out my knee, when Ronnie Gant was in the motorcycle accident, they threw me in left field right away. So they obviously thought enough of me athletically to be able to play left field. Now Terry Pendleton's gone. And we got the big baboon in left field, Ryan Klesko, you know, so he was out there. The need was at third base, and I think once you play on the left side of the infield, it doesn't really matter where you play. I think you just have to change your mindset, because at shortstop, there's somewhere for you to go every time the ball's hit. At third base, you're basically a hockey goalie down there, you know. I mean, you get skate saves and, you know, glove saves and whatnot. It's one step and a dive, and it's such a reactionary position. That was better for me, because the longer I had to think about things at shortstop, you know, that 4-hopper that you got to kind of wait to, you know, for it to get to you. That's the one I threw about 10 rows deep. Yeah, so.
You're playing third base, a righty comes up, and you think, oh, no, this is going to be a rocket. Who's that guy at the plate?
Oh, Gary Sheffield.
Everyone says Gary Sheffield.
Oh, my goodness. They don't make an infield deep enough for me to play that guy. Another Maddox story. We're in spring training. Sheffield's with the Dodgers. He's like, he comes up to me before the game. He goes, I'm throwing him nothing but changeups in. I'm like, sweet. I guess I'll start the year on the DL then, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, just play deep. He's like, I'm setting him up for the season. Okay? I was like, whatever, dude. Luckily, he hit it over my head. He hit 2 homers off him that day in spring training. He went 0 for 9 during the season.
Wow.
The guy's a freaking genius, man. I don't care if he pees on me or not. He's an absolute genius. Like, he used at-bats during spring training to set up, you know, at-bats during the year when he knew it would count the most. 0 for 9.
Toughest pitcher you had to face? Okay, wait. Toughest lefty, toughest righty.
Okay. Roger Clemens is the toughest righty just to put the ball in play against. There's a lot of guys that have stuff, had better stuff than Roger. Couple off, you know, I mean, I faced Pedro, I faced Schilling, I faced Kevin Brown. Those guys could beat you with stuff. Roger Clemens pitched with stuff, okay? So the ball would come out of his hand, and it would look low, right at the knees, strike. I'm like, damn, that doesn't look like a strike, you know? Or it'd come out of his hand, and it'd look outside, right on the outside corner. I'm like, he had great angle on his pitches, right? So I had like a 9-pitch at bat against him in Houston, and my locker mate was Eric Hinsky, funny guy. And I come back in the first inning, 9 pitches, grounded out to short. Sweating bullets, right? 71 degrees inside the dome, all right? I'm sweating bullets. I sit down next to him. He goes, are you all right, dude? You hungover? Drunk? What's going on? I was like, I just worked my ass off to ground out the shortstop off Clemens, right? He was outstanding. Randy Johnson, lefty. And I had success off Randy, but my God, he was ugly. Oof. Mark, 6'10", mullet, just, you know, beard snarling at you. Obviously, dominant stuff. He threw a perfect game against us in Atlanta. Struck me out 3 times. I never fouled tipped the ball that night. I was like, I came in after the first inning. A lot of the guys used me to kind of gauge where the pitcher was. And so I sat back down, and I forget who it was. Somebody came up and said, you know, what's he doing? I was like, y'all got no shot. You got no shot. And I think I hit 6 career homers off of Randy. I had 2 two-homer games off him. But when he was on, he could embarrass you. He gave me my only 4 strikeout game that I ever had in the big leagues.
So that's what I love. You had more walks in your career than strikeouts. Yep. Completely different these days.
Yeah.
Does it drive you nuts?
Yeah, I hate to be that old man that says, get off my lawn, but it's getting a little ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So what we're going to do right now, if we have a couple minutes, couple questions, if you raise your hand, I'll call on you, and we'll try to get a couple questions from the crowd for Chipper. So.
She did a great job.
So Ricky's wife did the balloons for Chipper's birthday last month. That's the first part.
So my wife and I have the same birthday, all right, which was April 24th. I turned 50. I'm not going to tell you what she turned because she'll get pissed at me.
Just wanted to ask if you
Okay.
Can you do next year's birthday?
I see you looking after me.
Who is the coldest pitcher on the Braves right now?
Right now, it's got to be Kyle Wright. I mean, he's really stepping into his own. I think it's just some guys are just late bloomers, and it's taken him 20, 25 starts to kind of figure out who he is out there. It's a different game. You can sit here and say, okay, the game's played at a certain speed in A-ball, and it speeds up a little more in AA and a little more in AAA. Completely different game once you get in front of 40,000 screaming people and big league lights and big league hitters. It's we can time a jet plane if we know it's coming, and it's up to those pitchers to be able to still use that fastball, but to be able to change speeds, because the most successful pitchers are ones that can disrupt the timing of the hitters, and he seems to be doing that pretty good right now.
Chipper, you just said about how single A, double A, triple A major leagues playing in front of 40,000. One question I love asking players is, at what point did the game become a job, or was it always a game? Like when you would put your batting helmet on, get in the batter's box in Little League, how much did that change to Babe Ruth, Legion, and then you're in the minors and major leagues? Did it still feel like a game, like you were a kid, or did it feel like a job?
The game itself was always a game. The preparation and the lead up to it, that was the job part of it, because people think we show up at 6:30 for a 7 o'clock game and we leave right after. I mean, we're there at noon, 1 o'clock. I mean, we're doing our homework. We're like, I would go to bed thinking about the dude I was facing the next day and what my game plan was going to be. It's a never-ending vicious cycle.
Yeah.
I might take 2 weeks off at the end of the season before I'm right back in the weight room, trying to get this gut off, and it's never ending. And to do that for 23 years, all the while living out of a suitcase and going somewhere different every 3 or 4 days. Yeah, it's rugged. But the game itself, like when nobody ran out on the field until I ran out on the field for like the last 10 years of my career. The pitcher would always nod at me. I would go out. Everybody else would go out. That run from the home dugout to third base with all of our fans up on their feet, it gives me chill bumps just thinking about it. Like, I love it. I love the chess match between pitcher and hitter. I love that there's no two games that I have ever played that have been the same, and that's the intrigue of and what I love about this wonderful game.
Yeah. I just realized, I looked down at my watch, and I can talk baseball forever. It's almost 1:30, so we're going to have one more question, and that'll be it right here.
Well, my dad was a baseball coach. His favorite player was Mickey Mantle. So I grew up in the shadow of Mickey, never having seen him play. Just hearing stories. My dad grew up right outside of Baltimore, so he got to see the Yankees when they came into town. And he always used to tell me it seemed like he could hit a home run whenever he wanted. And so my dad and I was a big Los Angeles Dodger fan when I was growing up. I hate them now, but huge Dodger fan. So we got 3 channels in my little old town, 2, 6, and 9, right? But every Saturday, Tony Kubek, Joe Garagiola, the game of the week. Luckily, if we were lucky, we'd get the Cincinnati Reds, who was my agent and best buddy's favorite team, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, after those games on Saturday afternoon, my dad would take me out in the backyard, piece of PVC pipe and a tennis ball, and if I was the Dodgers, whenever Reggie Smith came up, had to hit left-handed. Kenny Landreau came up, had to hit left-handed. and he was an Oriole fan, so, every once in a while we'd switch it up. And Al Bunbury came up, Eddie Murray came up, had to hit left-handed. So he would sit there at 40, 45 feet with a tennis ball, and he would throw that thing just as hard as the good Lord would let him throw it. And people wonder why I was a good fastball hitter. I grew up, looking at it. So my kids, if they want to switch hit, I will certainly accommodate. I haven't had any of them say, hey, Dad, let me turn around and hit left-handed. My oldest played a year at Stetson University, pretty good athlete. My 21-year-old doesn't have a speck of athletic ability whatsoever. Computer guy, completely all right, real smart. My 16 and 17-year-old are about 6'1", 250 apiece. Wow. Big boys. So they dabble in a little football.
They're going to Miami.
Yeah. And then my stepson Bryson is 12. Poor thing. His mother is 5'3", and she cheered at Kentucky, and his dad is 5'6" and cheered at Kentucky.
Welcome to my world.
He's a little vertically challenged, but the heart of a lion, loves playing baseball and football just like me, and my 5-year-old just did a little coach pitch, so he's whacking that thing around pretty good at 5, so we'll see.
The final hope. Well,
yep.
Chipper, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you all for
I hope
having
you
me.
guys all enjoyed it. I know I did. Like I said, I could sit here all day and ask questions and talk baseball, but I know everyone has to get back to work. So I want to thank you all for coming here today. Don't forget, the silent auction is going on for 10 more minutes outside. Please make sure you get your bids in. And again, thank you to all the sponsors who helped make this day possible. Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves, everyone. And don't forget, the next luncheon will be June 23rd, featuring another Hall of Famer, this time in football, Marshall Faulk. Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it. Thanks, great job.
That was a lot of fun.